911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yes. My son is unresponsive right now.
Your son
and I need
hold on. What's your address?
The address is 1934 Kensington Drive.
1934 Kensington? So you said your son is
Yes.
Okay, you said your son is unresponsive?
Yep.
Okay, how old is he?
He's a child with a lot of medical issues. So what he do is
Stop, just for a minute. How old is he?
He's 11 years old.
Okay.
In 3 days.
And when you say he's unresponsive, is he breathing?
Yeah, but barely. I mean, he got skin tone.
Okay, just stay on the line with me for just a sec. Let me get them started, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, they're on their way to
Thank you, ma'am.
stay on the phone, 1934 Kensington Drive, right?
Yes.
Is that
I'm blowing in his breath.
Okay,
and it smells real rotten in the inside of his stomach.
Okay, is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house, ma'am.
Okay.
On December 13, 2019, at approximately 2:26 p.m., Daytona police responded to a 911 call from 1934 Kensington Drive. The caller was a 30-year-old Al Mutahan McLean. He had just found his 10-year-old son, Takoda Collins, unresponsive on the living room floor.
So if he's breathing, let him breathe. So what I want you to do, I need you to lay him flat on the ground just for a minute, okay? Lay him flat on the ground so we can check his breathing, okay?
Okay, he's laid out on his ground now.
Okay. He's on his back?
Yes.
Okay. So I need you to check to see if his chest is rising, like look at it. And is it rising up and down, rising and falling like he's breathing? Check that and then let me know. And also if you can feel or hear any breath out of his mouth or nose.
No, it's not rising up and down.
Okay. You said we're going to go ahead and start CPR, okay? So keep him laying where he is, okay?
Okay. He got something coming out of his mouth.
Okay, what's coming out? What do you think is coming out?
I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. I want you to turn him on his side. Turn him on his side. That way, in case he vomits, he doesn't choke on it. So go ahead and turn him on his side, okay? Can you clean that out of his mouth a little bit? Take your fingers and clean it out of his mouth, just so he doesn't choke on anything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me know when you've done that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever in it coming out very, very rotten. It's a lot in his air passage, ma'am.
You said he has medical history. What kind of medical history does he have?
I mean, just mental behavior. See, he just hurts himself all the time. Okay. He wake up, don't get his way, slam his head, eat his shit.
All right, I understand. Okay.
It never ends.
Okay, so is he still on his side?
Is he still on his side? Yes.
Okay, are you cleaning whatever you can out of his mouth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you think he could have taken anything, or you have no idea?
No, I don't give him access to anything.
Okay, go ahead.
I know he likes to eat his own poop and lay in his own pee all day.
Okay.
He won't stop at no cost.
Okay.
McLean's behavior and attitude during the call raised numerous red flags. Rather than expressing concern about his son's critical state, McLean spent most of the time complaining about how challenging it was to raise Takoda and what a difficult child he was.
Is he responding to it at all? Is he breathing?
It's hard to say. I see his eyes.
Okay, and what are his eyes doing? Like, are they moving? Is any part of his body moving?
No, they just still.
Okay, go ahead and lay him on his back again. If you think his mouth
is coming out his nose. He's throwing up out his nose now.
Okay, then lay him on his side, okay?
Yes, ma'am. What about CPR?
Well, you need to clean out his air passages as best you can before you can start CPR.
That's what you're telling me.
But
I'm trying to hold it in there.
If you think it's as cleaned up as you can do it, then you can go ahead and start with the breath. You tell me. Is there anyone else there with you, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, is the door unlocked?
Yeah, the front door is unlocked.
Okay, they're on their way. Okay, you're going to start breathing into his mouth, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want you to
clear the air passage out.
Okay, yes, clear it out as best you can. I understand that there's something in there. So you're going to tilt his head up, his forehead up, so it's facing the ceiling, so his airway is open as best as you can. And you're going to blow
his forehead up.
Yeah, tilt his forehead up a little bit.
Okay.
And you're going to blow 2 breaths into his mouth, okay? You're going to cover his mouth with your mouth. Go ahead. Tell me if you see anything that's different. Is he breathe like his Roch's chest?
No, ma'am.
When the dispatcher instructed him to perform CPR on Takoda, McLean could be heard gagging and retching on the phone. He even made a fuss about how rotten the inside of his stomach smelt. This reaction was deeply disturbing and far from what one would expect from a parent trying to save their child's life.
I'm going to do chest compressions, okay? So you're going to put his hands, your two hands, between his breastbone, and you're going to press down hard and fast, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So go ahead and continue doing that. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Can you count with me? Tell me when you're doing it, please.
Yes. 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, go ahead and give him a breath, okay? When you breathe in, if you can face his chest and see if you can see his chest rising up and down with your breath.
Nothing.
Okay, I want you to go ahead and continue with the chest compressions, okay? And we're going to go ahead and count.
No air.
No, just go ahead and do with the chest compressions right now. Okay, so
1,
keep on.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Big people in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, so you're doing a good job.
Ambulance
Okay.
here now.
Okay, go ahead and open the door for me.
When the paramedics arrived at the scene, they found McLean waiting for them at the door. Inside, Takoda was lying alone on the floor of the living room. He wasn't responding, and his little body was covered in cuts and bruises from head to toe. He was also wet, as if he had been submerged in water. While the paramedics worked quickly to save Takoda, a Dayton police officer also arrived at the house. In order to give the paramedics space and quiet to do their jobs, the officer went outside to talk to McLean on the porch. But instead of showing any concern for his son's condition, McLean just kept going on and on about how wild and out of control Takoda was. He seemed completely indifferent to the fact that his son was inside fighting for his life.
Well, this is what happened. I ain't slept about 3 days, right? See that he bruised up. He keep falling downstairs. He knocking his head around. Anyway, it looked like something was wrong with his stomach. Just last night that I noticed. And I gave him some water to throw up. You know what I mean? I had him drink like several cups of water because it looked very odd and normal. And I know that he used to eat his own shit. So I just wanted to make sure that he was okay. So he drank the water, and it was it. And I guess he goes back upstairs and acting out some more. I mean, jumping off the banister, shitting everywhere, pissing everywhere, the usual, might I add. I've been doing this for probably since he was 2 years old, he's been doing this.
McLean also claimed that all of the bruises covering Takoda's body were self-inflicted. He insisted that Takoda had hurt himself on purpose to get attention and that he enjoyed putting on a show.
So at the time, I didn't think nothing of it. I just see that he bruised up as usual. Seeing the old way, he never stopped. He would find any way, any type of way, anything to use just to put a bruise on his body.
When the paramedics finally got a pulse and Takoda began breathing again, they rushed him to the emergency room at Dayton Children's Hospital, desperately hoping that the doctors there could save him. Unfortunately, despite everyone's best efforts, it was too late. 10-year-old Takoda Collins succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the hospital. A preliminary examination of Takoda's body by Dr. Kelly Liker, a child abuse pediatrician, revealed that Takoda's injuries were not accidental or self-inflicted, but the result of repeated abuse and torture. An autopsy by Deputy Coroner Dr. Brian Castro confirmed this, ruling Takoda's death a homicide caused by blunt force trauma, suffocation, and drowning. While doctors were examining Takoda at the hospital, the police officers stayed at the house on Kensington Drive with McLean. Soon after the paramedics took Takoda away, McLean's fiancée, Amanda Hines, her sister, Jennifer Ebert, and McLean's 3-year-old brother, Josiah Nichols, arrived at the house. Investigators soon learned that all 4 of them lived in the home with Takoda. Initially, the officers remained on the main level of the home, but McLean and Hines later gave them permission to search the entire house and take photographs. The house appeared to be a normal, comfortable home at first glance. The main floor was nicely furnished and had a fully functional kitchen, well stocked with food. There was a living room and 3 bedrooms on on this level. Family photos were displayed throughout the house, but strangely, there were no pictures of Takoda anywhere. There also appeared to be a security system in place, as a TV in the living room showed live video of the area outside the house. One of the bedrooms was nicely furnished and seemed to belong to McLean and Hines. It was well organized and contained clothes and other personal items. Another room, which was originally a mudroom, had been turned into a second bedroom for an adult, complete with bedding and clothes. The third bedroom, clearly meant for Josiah, had age-appropriate toys and clothes, creating a comfortable space for a preschooler. But surprisingly, there was no space for Takoda on the main level of the house. There was no bedroom for him, no toys or books that a 10-year-old boy would enjoy, and no clothes that would fit him. There wasn't a bedroom for Takoda in the basement either. Instead, the basement seemed to be used for the dogs, as the police found dog cages and a cement floor covered in dog poop. In the living room, there was a door that led to an attic upstairs. As detectives climbed the stairs, they were met with an unbelievable stench of human urine and feces. The attic was completely dark and empty, except for a single broken chair. There were no clothes, books, or toys, just filth, feces, and blood. In fact, the detectives couldn't find any toys, books, or clothes for Takoda anywhere in the house. Inside the attic, the detectives found another room that was locked. When they finally got it open, the detectives found a bloody tarp and a filthy lawn chair in there. Based on the evidence found at the house and the autopsy report, Al Mutahan McLean, Amanda Hines, and Jennifer Ebert were brought to the Dayton Police Department for questioning. The detectives decided to question Ebert first, hoping she might break under pressure and implicate McLean and Hines. Their strategy worked. Ebert was more than cooperative, claiming she wasn't going down for this anymore. During the interrogation, she gradually revealed the full horror of the abuse Takoda had suffered over the years.
First he started spanking him, putting him in the corner, then it escalated from there. He would start doing a little more, punching him and kicking him and stuff like that. And then he would start still punching him, kicking him, elbowing him in the gut, smacking him across the head and everything. And then he recently started using a taser on him. And then then we got this metal spatula down, or whatever, that he used to beat him with it.
Initially, Takoda did have a room on the main level of the house, but because of his so-called bad behavior, he was moved from room to room and eventually sent to live in the attic.
You moved here in 2016, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you moved here, where was your room?
First it was upstairs.
In the attic?
Yep.
Okay. And then what changed?
Well, he was in that one room off the bathroom area when I moved down, and then he just stunk up the whole downstairs. So that's when they moved him off the dining room area. In that one room that I'm at now.
In the back?
Yeah,
okay.
They moved him back there. And then it just started stinking up Amanda's room, because it's right off her room too. So then they moved him down in the basement. Because there's a back room, like if you turn left down there, there's a room right there. And then he just got tired of it, like, I don't know what changed about him being down there, and then they put him back in that back room and off the dining room area, and then they put him back in that room off the bathroom, and then they put him upstairs. But that's when they talked to me about moving back downstairs in that room, because we cleaned it up and everything, painted it and stuff like that. And then he went upstairs.
Okay.
Once confined to the attic, Takoda was forced to spend his entire day up there and was only allowed to come out to use the bathroom and shower once in a while.
So he did pretty much stay up in the attic though.
No.
Did he get locked in that room a lot? Yeah.
I didn't like when it came down. It was just really fast. Can he shower them still while?
At first, Takoda had access to the entire attic. However, in November 2018, he allegedly jumped out of an attic window, so McLean boarded up all the windows in the attic.
So, and he was in the bigger part or whatever that's leaking now for a little while.
Yeah.
And then he jumped out the window.
Yeah.
Is that the point that he was moved, that they put the door up?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he locked up there at that point?
Not at first, but after he jumped out the window is when everything, he had to get locked up there for his safety and everybody else's.
Okay. Well, why would he jump out the window? Like, was that door to the other area shut?
No, the door wasn't up there yet.
Okay, but was the downstairs door, because there's a lock on that door too, was that one locked? Where it's like he...
At the time, yes, because we was all sleeping.
Okay.
He did it early in the morning. And he came knocking on the doors, I guess. I was sleeping or whatever, and Amanda came and woke me up freaking out because there was blood everywhere. And he just said that he had a bad dream about zombies and everything, and he was saving himself, and he jumped out a window about this big.
Right.
So.
And he was saving himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
When Takoda was sent back to live in the attic, it had become an even smaller, more confining space with no natural light at all. To make sure that he couldn't escape again, the attic door was always kept locked. To make matters even worse, Takoda wasn't allowed to wear clothes in the attic because he would often soil them, so they were all thrown away.
At what point? Because he doesn't have any clothes. He doesn't have any clothes that are his size. Obviously, he soiled them all at different times.
Yeah.
How long has he been up there basically naked? She's having.
Probably a long time. Mainly the whole time. So every time we give him, even I gave him a pair of shorts to cover himself up, and we gave him diapers and everything, and he just kept on soiling himself.
So most of the time he's been up there. So possibly
Yeah.
since like 2018, because that's when he got injured. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay. And he's been up there pretty much in clothes since from that injury?
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
And if that wasn't bad enough, Takoda was forced to spend every day in painful positions designed by McLean as a form of torture. The poor child was also severely sleep deprived, as he was forced to hold these positions for almost 20 hours each day.
Well, I'm gonna get up and show you stuff that I'm supposed to do. So he's supposed to stand like this, with sometimes hands behind his head, sometimes behind his back. So if he goes like this, or like just uncrosses them, that freaks out. And then I know it's maybe weird, but another thing, he's supposed to go like this, and he's supposed to bend over, just like this, and then have his hands spread out like this. So, yeah, and if he's not doing that, I have to tell Al, and that's
Like all the time while he's up there, so he's not touching anything?
yeah.
So for like hours, he's supposed to be doing that.
Until 7 in the morning, till about 30 times, 34 in the morning.
It's almost 24 hours. Well, 20 hours, essentially.
That he's just supposed to stand there either with his legs crossed and over.
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
I guess that was supposed to make him start listening, get things through his head that he's stopped going to the bathroom on himself. I don't know.
How long has he been doing that, or he's doing that for hours at a time?
I can't even want to start having
I mean, like a year or months
probably longer than a year. I don't know.
that he's been supposed to stay like that? How's he supposed to sleep if he's done that?
He goes to bed at least very slowly start going to bed at 8 o'clock, but before that, I was always told to have him up until Amanda gets home, which is around 11, and then if I tell him to go to bed, I'll sometimes freak out, and that's when he started going, railing in on him again.
When you say he was supposed to stay up, so you watched him on the camera to make sure he's awake and not laying down, or?
Yeah, he lays down on his cot.
But he's not allowed to go to sleep until she got home. Is that accurate? Or
Yeah.
how do you know if he's asleep or not?
Well, if he... Well, he's not supposed to lay down until Nanny gets home. I'm rewarding him, sorry. It's just...
Okay. No, you're fine. So he's supposed to be up doing those,
Yeah, until Amanda gets
or
home.
the legs crossed.
Yeah, and sometimes Amanda tells him to go to bed, and then when Al gets home, he tells her to get back up and stuff. So maybe he lays down for like 2-3 hours.
And he helps him to get up again.
Yeah.
And then he has to do that standing workout
Yeah.
until he tells him.
Yeah, and then I get him back up about 7 o'clock every day.
An iPad recovered from the home during the police search contained images of Takoda in these excruciating positions. A surveillance camera had been installed in the attic to keep a constant watch over Takoda. Later, the police discovered that McLean disconnected this camera after Takoda became unresponsive, but before calling 911. Hines and Ebert would monitor Takoda remotely from the living room. If Takoda moved out of the painful positions he was forced to hold, Ebert and Hines would inform McLean, who would then beat Takoda for breaking the rules. The detectives also questioned Ebert about the severe injuries to Takoda's anal area, which raised serious concerns about possible sexual abuse.
So, I'll just be honest. I mean, Takoda had some pretty bad injuries to his anus area.
I don't know nothing about that one. I'm just heard of that now.
Well, he's telling him to bend over and cross his legs. What do you think he was doing?
I know he would always pour hot sauce on his butt, and like we had a towel like and tone and stuff like that.
He should want him spray.
Make him sit in hot sauce and salt and everything. Yeah.
It's
Really?
He would go, because Toto would be laying on the floor, his backside would be to the railing area, and then Al would go upstairs and just, go to hot sauce all the time, going to swords all the time. They can burn those stars.
What about the hot sauce issue?
Well, he... Every time he came down wet, he would just pour it on him. That's all I know. He was just go all crazy on it, pour it on him. When he's on the stairs, upstairs, he'd go upstairs and just... Yeah.
With the hot sauce on it, make it burn, and that's what you said, make it burn.
Yeah.
So, how many times do you think he did that? I mean, you were saying a lot, and this was daily, right?
Yeah.
He is it almost daily on him?
For like, maybe in the last week or so, yeah.
Okay, but he did it before that, just it was more consistent over the last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't the first time he actually did the hot sauce and the spray, like he used cologne to spray him too. So it wasn't the first time he did that.
On his butt? Or
Yeah, just everywhere.
The broken chair that was discovered during the initial search was also brought up during Ebert's questioning. The detectives wanted to know if it had been used to hurt Takoda.
There was part of like a stool or something. What was going on with that?
He would make him step on it With his legs wide open, because for no whole reason.
He would sit on it when it was part of the chair.
Yeah, when it was all together. Because he didn't want to stand still with the legs crossed, hands behind his head, and he just hang on about half on one thing, then sit on it.
Like with the legs up.
No, he was sat on the top of it.
Did you see Al with this, like one of the legs today?
He hid it behind the trucks and the building. All part of it when one was seen in the factory.
What was he done with it?
My dad had come along, I can tell you that one. I don't know what he was doing this other.
Okay.
Even though Takoda was going through terrible things at home, his school was one of the few places where he could often feel safe and happy, even if just for a little while. From January 5th, 2015, Takoda began attending Horace Mann Elementary School. He was 7 years old at the time. Right from the start, it was clear to teachers and staff that Takoda was struggling. And it wasn't just because of the usual things kids struggle with at school. Takoda was sent to school smelling of urine and poop every day. To add to his humiliation, he sometimes arrived with ridiculously bad and painful haircuts. The school was eager to help Takoda, but McLean refused all offers of help. He would get angry anytime the school staff tried to help his son.
Was there anything, did you have any interaction with his father?
Yes, I did. There were a couple phone calls. Dad called irate because he did not want his son to go to the clinic for any reason. Takoda had an accident on himself, needed to get changed. Dad was aware of that and was upset. I don't want my son going to the clinic. I'm tired of you all questioning my son. That was over the phone. And then I know when he came in, I saw Dad face to face, and that was right before he was withdrawn from school, before Takoda was withdrawn from school. And Dad said he was pulling him out because he was upset with us in regards to calling children's services and questioning his son. And he didn't want him here anymore.
Okay. When you said he had an accident on himself, did he have an, he had an accident. He wet his pants at school.
And then I know that it was noted as far as with body odor because he would come to school and clothes filthy and just reeking beyond just your normal boy being musty type thing. And so with making sure we keep extra clothes here for students, extra underwear, things like that, for students to change if need be, but they will have to come down to the office to change clothes. So, yes. And then one of the other things that I can say is that as far as with extra food, during breakfast or lunch, Takoda would, have extra food because he was hungry. So if any student that appears to be hungry or just didn't get enough, we make provisions for them to receive extra food to eat. We have a share cart, and then also I or one of the other staff members would just kind of make sure that kids have extra food if need be. And then on Fridays we have a backpack program. I know one time in particular, Takoda took food home. Dad was upset about that and was like, my son will not bring food home for school.
Oh, and Dad, but after he had brought food home, Dad called and complained.
Yes.
Okay. One time I saw him in the clinic. I don't know if he fell in the playground. I don't know why he was in the clinic. But it wasn't anything major because I don't call the parents for every little scrape from recess or whatever. And the next day, I got a call from his father. He was just irate, that I hadn't contacted him. So I told him, because I would see, sometimes 40, 50 kids a day, that if it was something serious, I didn't contact the parents, but if they request that, I would contact them. And he said, I don't want him to come in the clinic, he doesn't need to be seen by a nurse, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, if he gets injured or he's not feeling well, that's what we do. And so he said, well, call me first. And so I said, well, I'll talk to my supervisor. I mean, I don't have a problem with calling you. I don't know if I need to call you first, but, I'll certainly call you every time I see him. So then I talked to my supervisor, and she said, well, if that's what he was, that's okay, go ahead. Well, then I saw Takoda another time, and he said, you're not going to call my dad, are you? Because I just remembered he was just so upset, And I said, well, I need to call you, Dad, to just let him know that you fell. And he says, all right. So I don't remember the specifics. I just remember he was really upset about me calling his dad. But what I do remember is that he was very thin, and I know that people at breakfast would give him extra food and stuff like that, because he was always hungry. And that oftentimes we would wash his clothes because he had a strong smell of urine all the time. And so he would stay in the clinic, and I had extra clothes he would wear while I washed his clothes and put it back on. And I know Dad didn't like that. He didn't like that we were washing his clothes, but I felt bad for the little kid. And then he would go in the bathroom and try and clean up with wipes, to just clean himself a little bit. And I don't know if he was urinating on himself or just his clothes were getting washed or if they had it pet. It was, sometimes we had kids who'd say, well, a cat peed on my clothes. They wouldn't get washed. So that's why I think I may have referred him for neglect, but I don't remember seeing, cuts or bruises or anything like that I would have referred it. And I may have, I just don't recall. I'd have to look at my papers.
Furthermore, McLean demanded daily updates on Takoda's behavior from his teachers. Hines would receive these reports and relay them to McLean. Any report that wasn't perfectly positive resulted in punishment for Takoda. This involved Takoda being forced to stand in the living room for hours, holding a heavy backpack filled with books. The teachers and the staff at Horace Mann Elementary were so worried about him that they contacted authorities 17 times about the abuse they suspected he was suffering.
I am very grateful that they did report it, that they stepped up, they did what they needed to do. They did what they felt was morally right for that child.
On May 11, 2018, a concerned school employee called 911. She told the dispatcher that she had already reported her suspicions about Takoda being abused by his father, Al Mutahan McLean, to Montgomery County Jobs and Family Services 2 days earlier. But when McLean called the school to say Takoda was sick, she feared the worst. Worried that Takoda wasn't really sick, but hurt, she decided to call 911 to get help right away. Following this call, a caseworker from Montgomery County Jobs and Family Services asked the police to check on Takoda at his home. Officers went to the house, but no one answered the door. It was later revealed that children's services were sent to Takoda's home multiple times. However, the family was always prepared when caseworkers arrived. McLean and Hines instructed Ebert and Takoda to stay behind a locked door and remain silent until the caseworkers left. When a follow-up was scheduled, Takoda was told to reveal nothing and to act happy. Any visible injuries were concealed with long-sleeved t-shirts and pants. Ultimately, fed up with repeated interference, McLean and Hines withdrew Takoda from school on July 13, 2018, claiming that Hines, who posed as Takoda's stepmother, would be homeschooling him going forward. When the detectives talked to the staff at Takoda's school as part of their investigation, the staff had only good things to say about him.
Pretty much Takoda was a well-rounded student here at school. Friendly, helpful. He wanted to just kind of please people, so anything that he could do to help out, he will volunteer. Especially most of the interaction I had with him, hallway area, cafeteria during lunch duty, when I was going to the classroom doing walkthroughs, and just kind of bringing to my attention some things that he had done in regards to if he did well on a class assignment, or just kind of sharing out and just wanted to have conversations. So, when he was here at school, it was pleasant.
He was one of the sweetest children. He loved to make people laugh. Absolutely loved to make people laugh. And just happy-go-lucky all the time. Which is something I kind of reflected on over these past couple weeks, is what an amazing kid he was to be so happy-go-lucky every day, and then find out what he's going home to every day. That baffles me.
Once Takoda was taken out of school, he was completely alone and helpless. With no one to protect him or speak up for him, the abuse became even more brutal and relentless.
So was he in school when you first came?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was going to school.
Yeah.
How long from the time you were here did he stop going to school?
Let me see. I think he didn't go to school this year and then last year. So about these last 2 years, yeah.
He's fine. And so has he been in the attic most of the time since he stopped going to school?
Yeah.
Okay. When did the abuse happen before he got put out of school?
No, he was doing it while he was in school, but he just spanked him with an open hand at first. Like, he just kept on just spanking him at first.
Like a lot?
Yeah. I mean, he is a good father. He won't intentionally do it, but Takoda was just so out of control, he just couldn't do much to... They needed help for him and everything. They just never really got any help for him.
So this excessive abuse, though, where he's been up in the attic and he's been hit with things and punched and kicked and so I couldn't just...
I have to say, though, when he got pulled out of school.
Okay, so maybe last year,
A
couple years, whenever he was done with school.
Yeah.
How long until Al started really even on him, pushing him, hitting him and stuff?
I would have to say probably a few months ago or so, and a few months ago.
So the excessive abuse started a few months ago?
I would have to say so, somewhere around there, yeah.
Did he punch him before that?
No, he just used his open hand at first.
Hey. You mentioned that he used a taser on him. How long ago was that?
He only used it once, like...
That you know of?
Yeah, that I know of.
How long ago was that?
Probably... weeks ago, maybe?
A couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
To get a better idea of McLean's mental state, detectives asked Ebert about his drinking habits. They wanted to know if alcohol played a role in his abusive behavior and his disturbing lack of concern for Takoda's well-being.
Why was he that way with him? Like, I can see that there's no pictures in there. There's no pictures, no nothing. Like, he just didn't even exist. You don't have. Did he ever threaten you? Did Al ever threaten you?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, why did you never call the police or anything about it?
I don't know really. I wanted to so many times. But then he would just call us he would come up with some stupid story when if we ever did, he would just say, oh, I'll just say this and that, and I don't know, he was just...
He just make excuses. I mean, does he drink? Is it when he drinks, or is he just an angry person?
Both.
Does it get worse if he drinks?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Does he drink a lot? Really? Is that what he does all day?
He would usually go out when I'd say about 2, 3 in the afternoon, sometimes 4, and I'll come home about 2, 3 in the morning.
Was there a fear factor? Or?
For me, I know it was. I'm terrified of them. He gets angry too easy.
Did he get angry at you for not doing what you were supposed to in his mind?
Yeah, because if I don't want to wear a seatbelt, that man knows.
If you don't do what his rules are?
and couldn't.
And I know before you said that you were staring at him.
The detectives also asked Ebert if McLean had ever been abusive towards Hines. They hoped to find other instances of violent behavior that might help explain his actions.
Does he ever abuse your sister?
He used to when they lived in Wisconsin, and now he just throws things at the floor and punches walls.
Or takes it out on Takoda?
That's it.
Later, detectives also discovered that McLean had a history of getting into trouble with the law in Wisconsin. Court records showed that he admitted to disorderly conduct twice in the early 2010s. In March 2011, McLean pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and spent 5 days in jail. The second charge of carrying a hidden weapon was dropped. Then, in April 2012, McLean again pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and also to skipping bail. He had to pay a fine for each charge. The detectives also found records of several incidents involving McLean and Hines. In October 2013, McLean was accused of hitting Hines with a pipe, dragging her by the hair, and punching her before driving away with her. Then, in March 2016, Hines called the police because McLean was drunk and refusing to leave her house. Just 2 months later, in May 2016, Hines called the police again, crying hysterically because McLean had hit her and wouldn't leave. Despite these incidents, no charges were ever filed against McLean. It's truly puzzling how someone with McLean's history of violence and legal trouble was allowed to have custody of Takoda. During questioning, Ebert also described the final hours of Takoda's life. The details that emerged were truly horrifying.
I want to go to the day of this incident. And I know this is a gruff setting, okay? And in some regards, this obviously isn't something you're openly talking about with people. So maybe it'll help you to say it's okay? I know that's hard to say, but you just have to make sure we have the details of that day.
Alrighty.
Okay, so you're awake and he's stumbling, running into walls.
Yeah.
Tell me from there, kind of.
Well,
Or what?
Well, I want to just start from the beginning of the day.
That's fine.
Okay, so I wake up about 6:45 every day because I have to get the boys fed ready because they want me to get Takoda fed, use the bathroom before Josiah wakes up because he's naked, he stinks and everything. Josiah doesn't need to see that.
But
so I get his food ready and calm down. I call him like maybe 10 times. He wouldn't come down. And then finally I said, just forget it. You can just stay up there. Just do whatever. And then he said, I'm coming. Took him a while. And so I just stood there with the door open, waiting for him to come down. And I seen him. He was holding the walls like this, trying to walk, and he was stumbling and stuff like that. So then when he came down, I opened the door a little wider so he can come through. So he rubbed up against that corner between the hallway corner. I told him, he says, stop rubbing on things. I just, like I said, I thought he was going on the show like he always does. And so then he fell towards Josiah's door. I stumbled, and then to the bathroom door. He stumbled across that, and then when he got in the bathroom, he fell forward in the bathtub. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but he just held himself like, like, you know, when you throw up or something, that's how he held himself. And then I told him he's got to stop, otherwise he's going to wake up his dad. And then, finally he was pulling down his shorts or whatever, so to the bathroom, and I told him to get off, because he couldn't touch the toilet, and his clothes couldn't touch it or anything, because
he had clothes?
Yeah, he wears shorts sometimes. And then he had to hold the toilet to hold himself up. And then when he was going to the bathroom, Alec came out to his bedroom. And this was probably about 7:30 or something, a little after. And then from him before. And then when Al came out, he elbowed him in the back, and then he fell forward. Dakota fell forward, and that's when I just walked away because I knew it was just going to go bad from there. And then and that's really all I seen. But then he went upstairs, and then I only seen a few bits of it, so because I was reading and watching Josiah at this time. But the parts that I did see was that he made Takoda lay on his stomach, hands, I don't know if his hands were behind his head or his back, but I know he stood on him with all his weight holding the ceiling like this.
He was standing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's basically the best I seen, because I just didn't want to see what was happening after that.
Right. Well, at some point you said he brought him down and put him in the bathroom.
Yeah. He left it. And then after that, he told him, because he was washing his shorts at the time because he ran some water. And then he told him to scrub, otherwise he was going to drown him, I guess. And then shortly after he said that, I heard splashing and he gasped for air.
You could hear him gasping.
Yeah. I didn't think they take him back upstairs already.
How long do you think that was going on where he's splashing and gasping for air?
Maybe he only did it for 2 seconds. He put him under and just lifted him back up and sent him upstairs.
It was enough where you could hear him gasp.
Yeah.
Real quickly, he's washing his shorts, and then that's when you hear Al saying, if you don't scrub them, I'm going to drown you.
Yeah.
And then you hear splashing, and then him gasping for air, right?
Yeah.
That's the first time when he's down there.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was in the bathtub at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, he was all the way in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to picture in my mind that he was leaning over the bathtub, but he was in the bathtub.
Do you know? I mean, did you see him at the bathtub that first time, or is that just what you?
Yeah. Because I had to go get Josiah some water. So he just got done
So
eating.
you physically saw him all the way in the bathtub?
Yeah.
Okay. And then heard him splashing and gasping.
What Ebert told detectives about McLean putting Takoda underwater was later confirmed by the autopsy report. The report revealed that Takoda's lungs were severely filled with fluid, a clear indication of drowning. Furthermore, the wrinkled skin on his hands provided additional evidence of prolonged submersion in water.
I think when we talked earlier, after you heard him in the bathtub and you thought he was drowning, you said something about Al kind of took him and threw him around. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he did that all upstairs.
So he took him out of the bathtub, and Takoda, did he drag Takoda up?
No, Dakota walked up there.
He walked?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he stumbling or
Yeah.
walking with help or just by himself?
I know, I think he was just stumbling by himself. And then I was walking up behind him, and that's when it all got shut. And he puts no scene of it for 30 seconds and go up the stairs. Then he made him lay on the bed. And he got him back up again, and he took him over by those windows, those boarded windows. And then he was tossing him around on the floor.
What kind of things did you hear downstairs? So you know,
He didn't, nobody even said anything. He just,
Al wasn't yelling at him.
Or,
Could you hear the thuds? Could you hear things keep being thrown around? I mean,
Yeah.
all I heard was Al's feet. But then he just popped his collar and
could you hear the hits? Could you hear what he? Could you hear that kind of sound? And that?
when you're upstairs, you can't really hear, smacking sounds. It's just
Did you see him kick him?
not when he was upstairs. No, I just seen him stomping on him. Or stepping on him, I should say. That's just damn, you know what I'm saying?
So after he takes him over by the window, throws him around on the floor, what was he throwing around on the floor? Just laying him? I mean, how was he?
Just grabbing him like this and sliding him around the floor.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I should say.
They're dragging him around.
Yeah.
And then he, did he get back in bed then at that point? I'm trying to figure out when he stands on him.
That was right away as soon as he got.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm just kind of.
I missed that one.
I think it was shortly before the first time I pulled him into bed. He stood on him.
On the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was on the floor.
Yeah.
And then but you said he had his hand up on the ceiling?
Yeah.
And he was on his back? Is that where he was standing on him?
On the back, yeah. He was on his back.
Okay. So then, after he gets off of him, did you see him get off of him too?
Yeah.
And then what did he do?
I think he put him back in the bed. Like I said, after I see him standing on him, I went back to my book.
And then when you look back at it, though, he was in bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that when you saw Al standing beside him?
Yeah, because he was pouring that hot sauce on him.
Oh, he did that too?
Yeah.
That day?
Yeah.
Okay. And you could tell because he had a bottle?
Yeah.
Where was he pouring it at that point? Could you tell?
You can.
Okay. And so after he pours the hot sauce on him, what then?
And then he came back out. And he went back to bed. Like it never even happened.
This brutal stomping on the back had a catastrophic effect on Takoda. While severe bruising was visible on the back of his neck, the autopsy revealed even more horrific internal injuries. It showed deep bruising that had penetrated through all layers of the neck muscles, directly over the spine. According to the coroner, this was one of the most critical injuries Takoda endured. With no further questions for Ebert, detectives decided to question Hines next. From the beginning, Hines's answers were a mix of denial, downplaying, and contradictions. It was obvious she was trying to either separate herself from the abuse or protect McLean.
Shannon, explain to me what all these marks are on Takoda. What marks? The marks all over his body. From talking about the window or what? Yeah. Like the look at how much on it will. There's marks on his body. I don't please tear him out. Look on his body. I said, I have no idea. Like marks on his face, you didn't? You never noticed the marks on his face? I didn't see him this morning. I haven't seen him. Or maybe this big cut that's on his, like around his foot. It is. You never noticed that? Not really. Like, what's the last thing you saw him? Like, the last week or so, I've been working 6 days a week trying to get some extra money for the holidays. Okay, well, there's still a day left. I know I usually. So what did you do on that day? Well, I just got off today and yesterday. I just been sleeping, I've been sick. So you had yesterday though? Mm-hmm. You didn't see that all yesterday? I've been in my bedroom. I've been sick and extractor over bronchitis. So where was he? In the house. Had you watching TV? I don't know. Kids usually just playing around watching TV. Was he laying around? Yeah, they're usually watching cartoons on. You think a kid that looks like that's just playing around? So you never noticed, you never realized he had these marks all over his body? And then you usually work on his arms, on his hands. Well, you never noticed that stuff? I'm usually told I usually leave.
Even though Hines repeatedly denied everything, the detectives didn't believe her. They had already found a lot of evidence of Takoda's abuse, and her attempts to pretend she didn't know anything only made her seem more involved in the crime.
That's not like speaking, okay? Because I really don't have a lot of tolerance for stupid in our game, especially when it comes to a kid that lost his life. So this is your chance to explain this to us, because you're not stupid, okay? You seem kind of funny like you are, but you're not stupid. So let's discuss how this happened now. You do this to him? Did you do this to him? No, I Were you beating him? No. Okay, who was? I don't know. I wasn't there. You do that. I wasn't there. Come on. But you're still not stupid. Then never touched him. I never. So I haven't. I bet you went to school then. Yeah. You didn't talk to him?
Barely.
You never noticed that this kid was probably miserable his entire 10 years, or at least the time that this has been going on, because this didn't just happen. What monster does this? Are you a monster?
No,
Oh, well then tell me how this happened.
I don't know. He's usually wearing clothes when I'm around him. I don't
But they were on his
clothes.
arms, on his hands. His face had cuts.
I didn't see him today. I don't know.
They weren't from today. They were from a period of time, not just today.
She also tried to make Ebert's testimony seem unreliable by saying her sister had a learning disability and couldn't be trusted to give accurate information.
Okay.
I think some of my sisters had.
Yeah, she's, we just put her in a different room.
Bipolar and ADHD and depression, and she's got all their similar disabilities or something that she's got.
She's not all there, like,
She has a learning disability. She's a cat woods. She doesn't talk much, treatments, never had a job. Every time it's sent her over. It was Ken.
But by that point, detectives already knew that Hines was lying about almost everything. After the questioning, Hines refused to speak to the police again. Having gathered most of the facts from Ebert, the detectives had a clear picture of the horrific abuse Takoda endured. They finally confronted McLean, hoping he might offer an explanation, or at least show some regret for what happened to Takoda. But McLean, a master manipulator, responded with a bunch of lies and made-up stories. While he admitted that the chair leg had caused the devastating damage to Takoda's rectum, he insisted that Takoda had done it himself.
What's been going on since 6 a.m. this morning?
So, 6 a.m. this morning, I look at the camera, I see him plunging on his table, his chair. I don't think nothing about it. I'm just like, he's doing his normal weird things. So sometimes I felt like ignorance was the best answer, because he was basically just seeking attention at any cost. You know what I mean?
Okay,
He
so
must have snapped it off, because last time I checked, it was still connected inside of the thing.
I'm sorry, what?
It was still connected inside of the stool.
What do you mean?
The wooden piece.
Keep them.
The wooden piece was.
Still connected.
And
Who said anything about the wooden piece not being connected?
Who said anything about it not being connected?
You said that he must have snapped it off.
Yeah, he did. Had to. 'Cause
When?
I noticed that this morning.
And that's what he was plunging?
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe what you mean by plunging, Tui?
Alright, so look. He had, a chair like this.
Right.
You take the back off.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna sit flat on the ground.
Okay.
And then I seen him going like this. You hear me? I wasn't telling it. I wasn't able
So
to
he's
tell.
putting the chair leg in your
Yeah.
butt. That's what you're saying he's doing.
Yep, but here's the thing, I wasn't able to tell if that's what he was doing, or if he was just taking another shit.
As the detectives pressed further, McLean's explanations for Takoda's injuries became increasingly graphic and disturbing. He described horrific acts with a chilling detachment and a shocking lack of concern for the pain Takoda must have endured.
I'm like, I didn't think he was hurting himself at all, so I'm like, what is he going to
You didn't
do?
think he was hurting himself?
Not at the time.
Okay.
I'm thinking in my head, like, what could he possibly be doing with that? Okay? So, alright, I get up around, say about 8 o'clock, go give him his breakfast and stuff like that. So I go up there, and he's laying on his tarp, and he's got it in his butt. I'm like, what the hell do you think you're doing? I said, pull it out right now. He wants to get the wrestling, and you know what I mean? Either way.
I don't know what you mean because I don't live in your house. So.
Well, he want to get wrestling and aggressive, like he don't want me to take it out of him, and he don't want me to have it, period. So, I grab it out. Blood squirt. Yep. And it started dripping. So, put him in the shower. I put him in the bathtub, and I tried to clean it up and look at it to see if it was, worth me taking him to the ER right away. But to the eye, I'm not a doctor. It didn't look that bad. So I'm just thinking.
What did you see?
Just like, his butt. hole with a little blood, because you know, I checked it out afterwards. I'm like, whoa, let me see. And she then did. And it was just a little swollen, you know.
I didn't see any injuries or anything.
Not too heavy. I mean, I seen his butt swollen and his legs and his arms and all that, but I see that every day. It's not a day where he is not gonna add another one.
Then, without any prompting from the detectives, McLean quickly added that he himself was far from gay. This unsolicited declaration seemed to indicate that McLean knew the injuries to Takoda's rectum looked suspicious and was trying to preemptively deflect any such accusations.
I ain't never sexually harassed my child or do not like that. That's homophobic. And I mean, that's homo, and I ain't far from gay, you know what I mean? I ain't never played with they private parts.
Furthermore, McLean went on to claim that all the injuries and bruises on the little boy's body were self-inflicted.
Okay. First of all, he had marks all over his body.
It's every day. Now, sometime I had to stank his behind just to prevent him from hurting himself. This boy jumped out the window before. Just straight out the window. There is no stopping him. I'm afraid. I've been telling people I was afraid, but at the same time, it was nothing I can do. And I mean, I can understand the fact that he had marks all over his body. You'd be surprised just to sit there and watch him do it. Or just to see there, and you could just be like, stop, or no, or don't, and he's gonna whack, he's gonna bam, he's gonna jump, he's gonna flip, he's gonna kick.
As the interrogation went on, McLean finally admitted to spanking Takoda sometimes, but he insisted it was never meant to be hurtful. He claimed he didn't use too much force and only did it to protect Takoda from himself.
Anytime that I put my hands on him, it was to keep him from hurting himself. And I mean, as far as I wouldn't beat him with anything, I would just grab him and like, hey, enough's enough, like arms behind your back, like the police do, you know what I mean? It was never, I'm punch you in the eye or slam you or, you know what I mean? Never tried to do nothing out the way to him just to keep him from hurting himself. That was my biggest fear, and he just continued to hurt himself every day.
But by the end, McLean's story changed, and he eventually admitted to more violent acts.
Yeah, all these marks that are not self-created.
Yeah, half of them are not. Some of them, like I said, I spanked them at times.
What'd you spank him with?
A spatula.
A spatula?
Yep. It was flat. Yep.
What is this here?
That's a rash. That's from his nastiness. Just a rash. Laying in his piss every day, ate his back up.
No, that's fine.
That, I don't know what that is. I thought it was a rash. I've been seeing it for weeks. I actually thought it was a rash.
You took him to the doctor and you know.
What could I have done to cause that? What causes
Drag
that?
him
Drag them where?
Down the steps.
No, ma'am. No,
on the
ma'am.
carpet.
No, ma'am. We don't have any carpet. I did not drag him. I mean that. We don't have no carpet. I didn't drag the boy.
You didn't see the tear in his butt today, his penile area?
The tear?
Yeah.
The tear.
I think it's swollen, but I
It's plain and day cut. Yep. A tear actually.
it's possible.
So all these marks are probably spatula marks? Is that what you're telling me?
Great.
I mean,
Yes.
that's sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Is that what killed him?
I would say the spatula marks did not. But possibly throwing him around or stepping on him or putting your knee on his chest or
And it was only, yeah, I did this morning, but it was only to keep him from hurting himself. Like, he didn't want to come off the thing that was in his butt. Like, he wanted to fight for it. I'm like, I ripped it out, and he was still, you know what I mean, aggressive. I'm like, you need to lay down, settle down. He didn't want to lay down. I just had to get him to calm down for a second.
So what did you do to make him calm down?
I just laid him down flat and just, you know, put my knee on his back. I didn't put a lot of pressure on it. I just held it to where he could, you know what I mean?
Make him put his hands behind his back?
Yeah, because just anything to get him to stop.
By this point, the detectives had had enough of McLean's lies and decided to confront him directly.
Well, I think you know we've talked to the other people here.
Okay.
And your story is not consistent with its injuries as theirs, okay? I will tell you that.
I don't know what to say.
Well, it's your chance. Like, I understand if you were frustrated with him at different points because you hadn't slept, or because he would do things that bothered you or disgusted you. There's your chance to say it. But to blame him on him like he's doing it, when we know that's
the
not
only
case.
thing I probably did is spank his bottom or hold him down to keep him from eating this shit. Everything else, I don't know nothing about.
Or put hot sauce on his butt so it'll burn.
That I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I
I
did.
know you did.
Yep.
And why did you do that?
Just try to get him to quit crapping on himself.
But despite all the evidence against him, McLean continued to claim he was innocent and kept blaming Takoda for what had happened.
So you telling me they saying that I beat him to death?
And Mary.
Is that what they're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's very inaccurate. I don't think I killed my child. I don't feel bad. I still don't think they were in
You
there.
don't feel bad?
I mean, I feel bad that he's not with me no more, but I don't think I killed my child. No, I think you did it to yourself.
After interviewing McLean, Hines, and Ebert, detectives continued their investigation. They carefully reviewed evidence from the home and other sources to piece together a clearer picture of the horrific abuse Takoda had endured. More than a month after Takoda's death, his mother, Robin Collins, spoke to the media for the first time. She shared how she had raised numerous concerns with authorities, suspecting that Takoda was being abused by his father.
I'm angry. I'm more angry than anything. I'm more angry that my son, who was 10 years old, 5 days before he turned 11, is dead. Wisconsin failed him. Ohio failed him. My family, me, we all failed him. Really have to take some of that responsibility. As his mother, I have to take that responsibility. I feel guilty as hell.
Takoda Collins was born on December 18, 2008, to Robin Collins and Al Mutahan McLean in Wisconsin. Due to drug issues, Robin couldn't take care of Takoda. Her friend, Anita Bredesen, and her fiancé, Brian, took the baby into their home and cared for him. For 11 months, they raised newborn Takoda while Robin came by often to check on him. But when he was 11 months old, Robin's boyfriend at the time spanked the child hard enough to trigger an investigation from Children's Services. Following this incident, Takoda was put into foster care. He lived with 3 different families for several years. McLean was not in the picture at the time.
He never called. He never saw Takoda until he got with, I suppose, Human Services or Child Support would have gotten a hold of him.
Then, one day, out of the blue, McLean came to get custody of Takoda.
He came to Wisconsin and did a DNA test, and he was Takoda's father. So they took Takoda from my fiancé and gave him to a complete stranger.
Anita and Brian were in the process of formally adopting Takoda at the time. They last saw him at his 4th birthday party.
People need to know that Takoda was very, very loved. He never wanted for anything. He was a happy child, even when he was in foster care.
In October 23, 2013, McLean received permanent sole custody of Takoda. As part of the ruling, Collins was granted visitation rights. On May 6, 2019, Collins filed a motion for contempt in Wisconsin court against McLean, stating that he had never brought Takoda to see her since leaving the state and that she had only spoken to her son once on the phone in 4 years. According to their custody agreement, Collins was supposed to see Takoda 4 times a year and speak with him on the phone weekly.
Back in May, but I could tell that his father was hovering over him, telling him what to say.
After the call in the spring of 2019, Collins visited the local Child Protective Services offices in Wisconsin to express concerns about Takoda's care under his father. She also reached out to Children's Services in Montgomery County, Ohio. However, she never received a response from either office. So, on May 14, 2019, Collins called 911 requesting a welfare check on Takoda.
I believe that his father is abusing him and hurting him, and that he's too scared to tell anybody because his father won't let him talk to anybody. I've been trying to work with him to talk to my son, and he gave me a bunch of things that are very concerning. He locked him in his room. He tried to jump out a window. He sent him to school in a diaper. He pulled him out of school. He whips him with a belt. Just a bunch of stuff that's very concerning to me. Telling him how angry he is with him and how if I don't come and get him, something's going to happen and he's going to take him to a group home and drop him off, and how when he acts up, how he disciplines him with a belt and he'll lock him in the room.
An incident report from Regional Dispatch shows that 2 officers visited McLean's home shortly after Collins' call. The report stated that Takoda appeared to be taken care of and that there were no concerns. McLean told the officers that Robin did not have custodial rights, but claimed he still allowed Takoda to speak with her. He added that she made promises to Takoda, but never followed through with them. However, the records do not include whether Children's Services was contacted.
A person can only call and tell you so much of you not doing anything that they feel like them calling isn't doing anything.
Based on all the evidence collected during the investigation and the results of the autopsy, Al-Mutahan McLean was arrested on December 23, 2019. He was charged with 1 count of rape of a child under 13 by force, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 4 counts of endangering children. Jennifer Ebert and Amanda Hines were arrested on December 27, 2019, and charged with 4 counts of child endangering. All 3 of them pleaded not guilty to these charges during arraignment and were sent to Montgomery County Jail awaiting trial. After spending more than a year in jail, McLean, Hines, and Ebert finally pled guilty to the charges brought against them.
This is the most horrific case of abuse and torture that this court has ever seen.
As the main perpetrator of the crimes against Takoda, McLean was sentenced to 51 years to life in prison.
Although you admit what you did, I do not believe you fully understand the depravity of your actions in torturing this innocent child.
While McLean's fiancée, Amanda Hines, did not physically abuse Takoda, she was complicit by failing to prevent the abuse. She was sentenced to a minimum of 22 to 27.5 years in prison.
Instead of acting like a mother and protecting Takoda, as a mother should, you either participated and you further facilitated the isolation, torture, and the resulting death.
Jennifer Ebert was sentenced to 8 years in prison. The heartbreaking story of Takoda Collins is a devastating reminder of how critical it is to protect vulnerable children. While the system failed to save Takoda in time, his tragic death has sparked meaningful reforms in Ohio's child welfare laws to prevent similar cases in the future.